Views expressed by Casters Guild members are only the opinions of that member, and that could change from day to day. Guild members may use mature language, but that in no way means they are mature. Listener discretion is advised.
About halfway through Season 2, we'd like to take a moment to check in and talk about some of the stuff we might not get a chance to. Because we can't cover everything, or can we? That's the spell we're casting tonight on Casters Guild. Thanks for tuning into this episode of Casters Guild. I'm your guild master and Nintendo's little bitch, Ric Perry.
And I am Baron. You have flustered me with that. I totally was not expecting that.
You never are. That's the best ones. The ones where I can catch you off guard and just like
yeah. It's like I know you're going to come up with something. I know you have come up with something. And it was like, okay, you know what? I'm thinking about it. What it's going to be? Nintendo's little bitch. Holy shit! Wow. Okay. Anyways,
and that's our Guildmaster Baron Kane. By my intro.
Guildmaster Baron flustered by Guildmaster Ric's intro Kane. Before we get going, I would like to say, anybody listening to this right now, I think I would love to do more podcasts like this, but I would love to do so based off of what you guys say. I would love to interact with more comments, more messages. I want to hear from you guys so that we can do more podcasts like this. I like our scheduled stuff, but you know what? I like our impromptu stuff better. I like it when we do stuff like this, where we're just freeform and just off the cuff. And if you guys throw us a question, maybe we can talk about it. Maybe we can do a whole episode of just answering questions.
I would absolutely love that. And you can hit us up either at castersguild@gmail.com or our Facebook or Twitter, whatever is easiest for you. And we will absolutely. And I think Anchor even has a feature. I haven't got a chance to use it yet because we haven't gotten too much feedback. I believe Anchor has a feature where you can even leave comments in audio form, and then I can take that audio comment and put it right into the podcast. So if you've got a comment or a question, we can put you right on air with us and answer your question. So yeah, that would be cool too.
You know what? Find either one of us on TikTok, follow us, leave a comment on one of our videos that you're following us because of this podcast, and we will follow you right back just so you can give us... So just so you can give us DMs on questions and stuff.
DM us on TikTok, stitch us, duet us, something. All right. So a lot of stuff has happened since we've started Season 2 in the nerd and geek culture. And I do want to start by apologizing for missing a few weeks. I know we just came back with our Fallout episode, but I had a bit of a family emergency. I won't go into it because it's not what this podcast is about. But we are back on schedule, and we will do our normal release dates after this. I wasn't going to start with this, but since I introduced myself as Nintendo's little bitch, I think I kind of have to now. E3 is back again. We missed E3 entirely pretty much for 2020. Even 2019 wasn't great. And 2021 had a lot of expectations for E3. And most of it wasn't great, but Nintendo did a treehouse. Nintendo did or Nintendo Direct. I don't know what they're calling them nowadays. But, man, Nintendo's coming out with some shit this year. Has already come out with some shit this year. And I had told myself I was going to try to buy less video games this year because I've got a bit of a backlog and not as much time to play them. But if you're telling me that I'm going to get Mario Party Superstars, Metroid Dread, and Breath of the Wild 2 all in the same year, like, shut up and take my money.
That's a bit intense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're doing a Breath of the Wild 2?
Yes.
Is that the first, direct Legend of Zelda sequel?
No. So...
Can't count Legend of Zelda 2.
Okay, then there's the first one, but if I can't count it, there is also still A Link Between Worlds, which was a direct sequel to A Link to the Past.
Oh, okay.
And then I don't know if you can call them sequels because they were released at the same time, but there's Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons.
Okay, so those are all games that I'm unfamiliar with. So,
and then Four Swords Adventures had a direct sequel, and don't forget Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask for the 64.
Are those sequels to each other?
Majora's Mask is a direct sequel to Ocarina of Time.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, to the point where it like picks up right where Ocarina of Time leaves off if you beat it. Like it is direct as a sequel can get.
I guess I just never noticed.
Yep.
Huh.
But Breath of the Wild 2 should be freaking amazing. There's a lot of fan theories going around about Breath of the Wild 2. One of my favorites being that you aren't playing as Link in it, but actually playing as young Ganon. That looks like it might be Link, but it actually is young Ganon. So, and I've seen some of the evidence to back up that theory, and it's interesting. I'll put it that way.
Sounds it.
Then kind of backing up a little bit, Metroid Dread. I've been a Metroid fan for a long time. I'd say I became a hardcore Metroid fan around the time of Metroid Fusion for the Game Boy Advance. And 3D Metroid hasn't been given a lot of love since the Prime series, which has been a long time now. And just to see some of the trailers coming out of Metroid Dread, that game looks amazing. A little bit more of a survival horror feel, but a lot of Metroid games have a survival horror feel. They feel sci-fi survival horror to me, almost like Alien or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it sounds like, I mean, like when it comes to games like Mario Party Superstars, I try not to get my hopes up too much because it sounds like one thing, and then Nintendo releases the game and it's like, this is good, but it's not what I thought it was going to be. But it sounds like Mario Party Superstars is going to be all the best parts of all the older Mario parties, and every function is going to be available online, which the most recent Mario Party, it was not. Like, you couldn't really play the game online with your friends.
That's going to be a game changer right there, honestly.
Yeah, you could, with the previous one, you could only play mini games online with randoms. Then they changed it to where you could play it online with friends, but it still wasn't the full game mode. And now this one's going to have, apparently, every mode is going to be available for online play, which should be pretty great.
Hot damn.
So yeah, here I am, Nintendo's little bitch. Just and not to mention, I've been spending the past couple of months playing the new Pokemon Snap with my wife because it's great. It's great. I mean, like, it's not amazing. You know, it's not like, oh my God, this is the best game ever. But it is exactly what I wanted it to be. Being a fan of the original Pokemon Snap and playing that game with my wife a bunch, being able to just sit down, relax, and take some pictures of Pokemon is awesome.
Yeah. I like games like that where there's just no... Well, you know what kind of gamer I am. I'm
Right.
the kind of gamer that will slap in a game, throw it on easy, and then just play. Because I actually like having the freedom of looking at the graphics of the game that, you know, these people worked so hard on. I like experiencing the story that these people worked so hard to write. I love that. So when there are games like that where literally it's all about taking in the scenery, I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, if you are listening to this and you haven't played it yet, I would highly recommend checking it out if you're looking for something to just relax to, something that isn't super high stress. It's just tons of fun. But speaking of video games, I gotta say I've been rather impressed with your Twitch schedule as of late.
Mine? Oh. Yeah, I've been trying to be dutiful. I've been trying to be regular. I have taken a couple breaks, like, for instance, today, and I might do something tomorrow. I'm not sure. But I've been doing Mondays through Fridays pretty fucking regular. But then it's gotten hotter, and doing things outside has been more feasible, especially going to the pool, you know, now that people are vaccinated and, you know, the crisis is cooling off, though not quite over, people.
Yeah.
So we've been just doing stuff outside. So I've been doing Monday, Tuesday me time with the little one, and then I'm going to be going back to Wednesdays, and I may start picking up Saturdays to make up for it. But yeah, so I've been doing Minecraft in the beginning, and I've been playing Subnautica. Subnautica is a hell of a game. Love it. If anybody knows me, you know I love survival games. But most of the survival games I've had to play has to be with other people because it's not feasible any other. Because, Ark, 7 Days to Die, Conan, Exiles. I love those games. I do. I love them. But I have to play with other people. And I have to be reliant on their schedule. And they have to be reliant on me. And I have to be okay with their play style. And they have to be okay with mine. It's just a whole lot of stuff that really irks me about survival games.
Right.
Because I don't want to put the burden of my play style on other people. I want them to be able to play however they want to play. But at the same time, I don't want your play style fucking with my play style.
Sure.
So Subnautica, it's all it is a solo survival game. That's the entire point of it. And I love it. I love it. I can take my time. I can build what I want. I can go where I want. I don't have to worry about people putting in cheat codes and making it seem like they weren't so that they look cool. It's lovely. It's a lovely game. And I'm going to get through it, and then I'm going to tackle Subnautica Below Zero. And I've talked about these guys before. Little known group called Neebs Gaming. They're a pretty unknown, up and coming group of kids. And Astro was doing a playthrough, but it's kind of like a role-playing playthrough, and he really got me hooked on it. And funny enough, Neebs and Astro get a cameo in the first Subnautica, which I wouldn't be surprised if they get a cameo in the second one too. But
yeah, I've never been a fan of survival games myself. I don't have the patience for it, especially with my backlog of other video games. Mm-hmm. But I will say I have tuned into a couple of more than a couple. I've tuned into a few of your Subnautica streams, and it is enjoyable to watch you play it. It is, for lack of a better word, it's an experience. I mean, to watch you make the decisions that you make, and you sometimes try to involve some of the viewers in the stream with the choices, but due to the delay, I mean, a lot of the choices you're just having to make yourself, and it's just really cool. I've never been much of a person to watch a whole lot of live streams or to get into survival games, so to kind of dive into both at once and still enjoy it was something I was not expecting. And I was just going to come on there, to be supportive and try to, but I do really enjoy watching you play, which is really cool.
Nice. That's good to know. Yeah, I will say that game is fun to play. It's fun to watch people play, and I think that it lends itself to the platform of streaming. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. I can't recommend it enough, and I just can't wait to get to Subnautica now. I think I'm at end game stuff. So
not too much longer until you switch over to Sub-Zero.
Mm-hmm. Be there soon.
Couple other things in video games. Dark Alliance just came out. Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance.
I knew nothing about that game. Nothing. Mm-hmm. But then, let's go back to the Neebs guys. I saw them playing it.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, the video game company was like, here you go, Neebs Gaming. Here's some money and the game so that you can play it and let people know about it. Mm-hmm. So they did. Again, didn't know anything about it going into it. I just knew that it was a D&D game. Come to find out, it is basically running on the same engine as one of my favorite games.
Which one's that?
Ultimate Alliance.
Oh, yeah.
It looks exact same, except different characters.
Yeah, it's set in the Forgotten Realms, and you play as one of four very famous Forgotten Realms D&D characters. I will say it's been getting bad reviews that I don't think it deserves. I think a lot of the people who are going in and playing it or reviewing it aren't realizing what it's supposed to be. Like
Mhm.
they're playing it. Well, first of all, it didn't even release it as a full price title. Like it didn't release at $60. It released at like $40.
Wow.
So people should know it's not going to be this great big AAA release.
Right.
It's really just supposed to be a game that you sit down and play with your friends and enjoy the action of it and playing together and putting together combos and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, if I had to give it a review right now, it wouldn't be a great review, but not because of the gameplay. I bought the game because it's meant to be co-op, and I wanted to play it with my wife and a couple of my other friends who I played D&D with.
Okay.
The problem is there's no local multiplayer, meaning you have to play it online multiplayer.
Okay.
So you can't sit down. If you got 2 controllers on one system, you can't play it multiplayer that way. You have to play it with 2 different systems, with 2 copies of the game. I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
Second, the one way I might have fixed this issue, I can't, because there is no crossplay between PS5 and PS4. Meaning if someone's playing the PS5 version of the game, they cannot play online with someone who's playing a PS4 version of the game.
Okay.
So what I
kind of understand, but I mean,
every other game that has been on both of those systems and been multiplayer, you've been able to do crossplay.
Right. That was my hang up there.
Yeah. So what I might have done, because I'm going to get a PS5 eventually, what I might have done is just go ahead and buy a PS5, get a PS5 version of the game, and then we'd have those 2 consoles. But I'm definitely not going to buy another PS4. And I'm definitely not going to buy 2 PS5s. So looks like me and my wife just won't be playing this game multiplayer, which is like the entire reason I purchased it. So that's a little disappointing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
I have been playing some of the game by myself, and I do enjoy it for what it is. It's just not what I wanted it to be, which is, yeah, like you said, disappointing.
Unfortunate. But also, can you only play with those characters, those 4 characters?
Yes.
Ugh.
But that being said, the 4 characters are very customizable. Like, you can get lots of different gear to make them look different. There's like over 100 different moves you can choose from to customize your character as far as what they can and can't do. There's a bunch of different skill trees that you can go into. So it's those 4 characters in the same way, kind of like Borderlands is only playable with 4 different characters. But in Borderlands, you know, my hunter character could be entirely different from your hunter character. And in Dark Alliance, my Drist Duorden could be entirely different from your Drist Duorden. So,
well, it'd be nice if, you know, again, obviously it's not a complete game. No games are complete nowadays when they first get released. Hopefully they will eventually let you unlock skins or even completely different styles of characters. Because like what? You have Dritz, Wolfgar, Brunner, and Catti-brie.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, you have a ranger, a barbarian, a fighter, and are they treating her like a cleric?
Well, no, they're treating you've got your ranger, and it's not Driss. It's I might have gotten the name wrong, but it's the human who Brunor adopted.
That'd be Wolfgar.
Yeah, you got. Let's see, I've got the
right. No. I think he adopted Catti-brie.
Yeah. And she's definitely a ranger. She is a bow ranger.
Okay, well, I know she's the chosen of Maliki, so I didn't know if they would treat her like a ranger or a cleric.
Yeah, she's definitely the bow ranger. Then you got Drist, who they're kind of treating like a rogue. Like he gets to go invisible and stuff like that.
Right. I mean, I guess I can see that, but he's... Yeah, anyway, so they're treating him like a rogue.
Yeah. Then you got Bruno, who's the fighter, and he's the tanky fighter. If anybody's the closest to being like a cleric or paladin, it's Brunor. Because he is the tank, they're also giving him some healing abilities. Brunor is your support character. Like, if you want to play support, you're playing Brunor.
Okay.
And then there's Wolfgar, who is, you know, the barbarian.
He just wades into battle and damages things.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, okay. So I can definitely see them maybe putting in more characters or even putting different skins on them.
Yeah, I could see some DLC characters down the line. Maybe not necessarily customizable character, but like some other D&D iconic characters. Maybe we see Mordenkainen or Tasha or
I mean, even if they stuck with the same storyline, they still have many other characters.
Oh yeah,
they can pull from like Regis. They can pull in Regis the Halfling. I can't remember his name, but he's a pirate assassin guy. What's his name? Anyways, he had a thing with Dritz.
They also love doing a lot of these D&D games love doing crossovers with a lot of these streaming shows.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've seen Minsk and Boo, Chris Perkins' character in a lot of these D&D games. Maybe we'll see.
Well, Minsk and Boo are from Baldur's Gate.
Right. But Chris Perkins plays them a bunch, doesn't he? I mean, like, if you ever see him drawn, he looks just like Chris Perkins. But, like, I could be wrong.
Right, but, I mean, like, literally, the first I heard Minsk and Boo, and he could have even been in the books, but the first I heard of Minsk and Boo is in the first Baldur's Gate, and that was, out in the 90s?
Yeah. So, I mean, they predates him. But maybe we'll see, fingers crossed, we'll see something like a Critical Role pack, and we'll get some classic Critical Role characters.
I would love to see some Critical Role characters pop in, but there is an idle game, like Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms or something like that. The only reference that they put in that game at all, and there are like 100 characters in that damn game. The only thing that they put in was Spurt.
Yeah,
and you can't even play as Spurt. He's just like a pet character.
Yeah. So
I was kind of disappointed on that, and their explanation was, oh, well, the Critical Role guys aren't from the Forgotten Realms. And it's like, and? So?
Yeah, like you can't do Planes Crossing. Well, I'll tell you who is from the Forgotten Realms. Ack Inc. are all from the Forgotten Realms. So, like, maybe we could see some Binwin Bronze Bottom or Jim Dark Magic, or that would be neat, I think. But yeah, I think some DLC characters, get us a caster, at least. Like somebody who's going to be throwing some spells, I think. Like I said, a Mordenkainen or a Tasha or even like a Bigby or something like that. Give us somebody like that.
Well, especially like if you think of Ultimate Alliance and how all the characters that they had in that and how those characters were played, it's like a caster would be perfect in this. It's like, why don't you have it? Just, like, fuck it. Just throw Elminster in there. I don't care.
Yeah.
Somebody
who can sling some spells. Something. Hell, just give me some random Dragonborn sorcerer. I don't care. Like, something. And then there's all that. Recently, we've had a lot of crossover between Magic the Gathering and Wizards of the Coast's other properties, like Dungeons & Dragons. So, give us some Ravenloft characters or something, maybe. And like if you're really trying to push that crossover, like give us a Planewalker or two. Give us what's his name, Jaden, something.
Yeah, just thinking of all the possibilities. I mean, I'm like overwhelmed by the possibilities that they could throw into this game, and they just haven't.
Yeah, well, like I said, they released the game for $40, so it's obviously like wasn't meant to be like a great piece. And
I can appreciate that. I can appreciate them saying, hey, you know what? This game isn't complete. So here's a $40 game. And then guys want some downloads. Maybe we'll make, we'll make you pay for the downloads.
Yeah. I'd pay $5 or $10 for another character or a pack of characters. If they were like, here's another set of 4 characters, $15. Like, depending on who the characters were, I might pay that.
Yeah. Well, especially like if they come up with like packs, like different packs of downloads, like let's just say $15 download packs. And like each download pack is like 4 new characters from different things or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, like, and it'd be a really good way to even, like, I understand the game is supposed to be Forgotten Realms, but it'd be a really good way to show off some of your other properties. Like, you'd be like, $15, the Barovia pack, $15, the Greyhawk pack, $15, the Wildlife pack.
Imagine $4 pack, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're like, well, let's just pick, just right off the top of my head, not the Brave, Caleb, Jester, and I don't know, let's just say Yasha.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you know what? Or you know what? No, screw it. The whole crew that you can choose from.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Even throw in Molly and Caduceus.
Mm-hmm.
Sell it for $30.
Oh, that would sell gangbusters.
All right, who the fuck would jump all over that shit?
People would buy that game. People who didn't buy that game would buy the game just to get that pack. And like, if they went really far with it, like I was about to say, in some of the packs, you could like even if they were from a different setting, throw in a few little levels, throw some extra levels in it.
No. This is what you do. You ready? So you have. You know what? I'm just gonna say it right now. $40. The Critical Role pack.
Mm-hmm.
See, campaign. Let's just stick with campaign 2 because that's what I know.
Right.
You have the crew, right? The main crew, and you could even have like you start out in the beginning and it's Molly. You don't even have Caduceus, or fuck it, whatever. Throw Caduceus in there too, and then you have different skins because Critical Role has this thing where like partway through the campaign they'll have them change their clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Get all new outfits, so like these artists will draw up brand new looks for them. So there you go. Then you get another outfit, and then with like spoiler, I'm throwing it out there right now. If anybody hasn't seen campaign 2, I'm throwing out spoilers. So you even have Not the Brave, who starts out as a goblin rogue, becomes a halfling rogue.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a skin for Not the Brave. You have a skin for Molly, who goes from Molly to the Nonagon to Kingsman. I think that's what they ended up calling him. I mean, there's so many, and you know what? If they sold it for $40, and they're like, look, we're selling it for $40 because there has to be a kickback to Critical Role.
Mm-hmm.
So $40, and this is everything you get. Oh my God, people would be all over that shit.
And then. Look, they got a little campaign, right? And like I think in the main game there's like 3 little quote unquote campaigns that are broken apart into missions, and it's got a narrator that like narrates the beginning of each mission. Like you throw in their own little campaign and have Matt Mercer narrate it.
Oh yeah.
Like that's
you essentially got a Critical Role video game right there.
Yep. And they wouldn't even have to work that hard to do it.
Nope. It would just take skinning old characters. Honestly, that's all it would take.
God, who made this game? Like whoever made this game, they need to call me. Is it Wizards of the Coast? It looks like Wizards of the Coast and Tuque Gaming, TUQUE. 2K. Yeah, that's definitely not 2K. 2K is a different company.
Hawk.
But whoever they are, they need to call us. We got some ideas.
You know what? Just give us a copy of the game. We don't want money. And we want to play with Critical Role guys. That's it. That's all we're asking, and we want to be regulars on it. That's it. That's all we're asking.
You know what? Maybe add Master Ric and Master Baron as characters too. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, that's it though. That's it. That's all we're asking. We're not asking for much.
We don't even have to be playable characters. Like there's a camp at the beginning, like in between each mission, and like there's a couple NPCs in the camp that you can talk to and interact with. Like make us NPCs in the camp.
Yeah, that's it. That's all we're asking for.
And where we're just basically talking shit the entire time. Yeah. Just like you can just
video game immortality. That's all we need.
Oh.
We worked so hard for it too.
So hard.
Oh my gosh.
All right. We're already over a half hour in and we haven't gotten off video games. So like I just want to mention one more video game that just came out. I haven't had the chance to play it yet, but I want to say it looks awesome. Called It Takes Two.
Oh yeah.
Every other Tuesday I've been playing Okami on our Twitch. Okami New Game Plus on our Twitch channel. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, the moment I'm done that game, I'm pretty sure I'm diving right into It Takes Two and playing that live on Twitch every other Tuesday because that looks great. And as I was saying, I'm always looking for a good co-op experience, and that's all that game is.
Oh, yeah. It's literally what it's about.
Mm-hmm. Just so we don't go too far away from it. Like I said, we do have some crossover between D&D and Magic the Gathering.
There's a campaign that I'm wanting to run that is a crossover with Magic the Gathering.
The Wild Beyond the Witchlight is something different, I think. Or is that the Magic the Gathering one?
There could be more than one. The one I'm referring to are the Mythic Adventures of Theros.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That was out. That's been out for a little while though, right? Yeah.
But of course I would want to run that campaign.
Of course. Oh, look, you would buy that book if for the only reason that it gave you the actual stats to a Gladius. So you'd be like, yep, let me just go ahead and...
Well, that they didn't do. They didn't give me the stats to it.
Did they not? Oh, it's still a short sword. Whatever.
I'm telling you, if there's one thing that I hate about D&D 5th edition is the extreme lack of variety that they give you in weapons. And before y'all come at me and say, "Oh, you could just say Gladius is a short sword." It's like, yeah, I could, but I would also like some variations on, like, let's say monk weapons, so that some motherfucker doesn't pick up a short sword and uses it as a monk weapon, even though it has nothing to do with monks. I'm not pointing fingers.
Anyway. Tanuki with an electric short sword. Anyway.
Cool image.
I'll say even, like, I didn't play a whole lot of 3rd edition, but I will say 3rd edition Pathfinder did have an impressive arsenal available. And even 4th edition had, like, a crazy amount of weapons you could choose from.
I'll tell you, it is nothing compared to the laundry list of equipment and armor and weapons that Advanced Dungeons and Dragons has under its belt. Holy shit. And you know what? And it's funny too, because a lot of them are, if you just look at the numbers, if you're just looking at the numbers, it's like, oh, that's the same fucking weapon. It's like, you know what? But I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care.
You're absolutely right. And like, if nothing else, like, there's a lot of excuses you could give for it. One, just because, it's cool. Two, you could say, oh, well, this class doesn't have proficiency with this weapon, but it does with this weapon. And, like, it... Or you could be like, oh, you can't have this type of pole arm, but if you pick up this feat here, you can have this exotic pole arm that has very similar stats, but, like, because of this feat, you can use it. Like, there's a lot, we've had a lot of D&D supplements and a lot of excuses behind those supplements. We've got Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes, Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, Xanathar's Guide. Just give us another character, tack the word armory onto it, and then just give us a whole book of feats, extra... Oh my god. If you did an entire set of subclasses, whatever you want to call your path, your whatever, where you're like, oh, this is the Paladin Oath of Weaponry, or this is the monk subclass Samurai, or fighter subclass Samurai, where, like, it focuses on the katana and the wakizashi. Like, you could have a whole set of subclasses based upon weapons. You could have dungeons that you put in there based on weapons that you can find in those dungeons. You could have a whole source book. Just give us the armory.
Look, you know what, Coast? Just call us. All right? You don't even have to pay us. You can just take this idea. All we're asking for is for it to be like Baron and Richard's or Armory Guild or something like that. That's all we're asking for. Also, we have to be
call it the Caster's Guild Basement Armory.
Oh, there we go. The Caster's Guild. That's all we're asking for. Also, we have to do the flavor text in it. The flavor text that you put in all your source book. We have to be able to write that too.
Yeah,
that's all we're asking for. Also, our likenesses have to be on the cover. That's it.
It is our characters. That's all. And then while we're talking about that, you can talk to us about Dark Alliance too. It's fine.
Right. We are so generous, Wizards of the Coast. We just want to be immortalized. That's it.
So also with D&D, the D&D Magic crossover, we've got a whole new Forgotten Realms set of cards from Magic the Gathering. You and I, never been huge trading card game people. That's why we got guests on. but I have to mention it because it brings up a really cool new feature in the game called Delving into the Dungeon, where you can use cards to go through a dungeon. I have never wanted to buy a pack of Magic cards more in my life. I'm still not going to do it.
So let me tell you, Rick. This may be a bad time, since we're live and recording to post this later. I'm in another guild.
Okay.
I'm sidelining.
Oh, geez.
I know. It's called the Guild of the Bloody Rose, and the guild master of that guild will post all his Magic shit, and he is just getting into this stuff, and he posted some of that dungeon stuff, and I'm like, what in the fuck is this? Mm-hmm. He was like, oh, it's dungeons. It's a new thing. I'm like, oh my god! It's like, because I saw some of the other cards and stuff, like the Tiamat card. Oh, it's so lame. The Tiamat card is so lame. Because I have a passing knowledge of Magic the Gathering. But yeah, the Tiamat card is so lame. Ooh, I wonder if there's a gelatinous cube card.
Probably. If not, that's a big missed opportunity.
Yeah, and I need to get the Dice Masters card of that too. I just love me some gelatinous cubes. But yeah, so yeah, we are talking about getting together sometime and playing some. So I will be more than happy to do a report on this. Maybe I'll even do a live feed of playing the game, and we'll see how it is.
Then we've got the whole new supplement coming out, Strixhaven for D&D, which brings in a bunch of new Magic schools for D&D that come straight out of Magic the Gathering.
Okay.
That was announced during the week of lore for Dungeons and Dragons this summer. They made a new announcement every day. Some of them were, all right, you're kind of stretching the definition of announcement, but okay. And then they announced a new campaign, The Wild Beyond the Witchlight, which is an entirely Feywild campaign. It starts with, from what I understand anyway, that the PCs get invited to or find out about a carnival that's happening, and there are some people that tend to go missing at this carnival, and then the carnival turns out to be put on by the Feywild, and people are disappearing into the Feywild at this carnival. So I think that sounds like a super cool campaign.
That reminds me of one of my favorite campaign settings in White Wolf. It involved a carnival, and it was really awesome.
Also, speaking of your love of gelatinous cubes, hashtag not a sponsor, Bugbear Bubbles just released a limited edition gelatinous cube soap. And it is called, well, they have plenty of gelatinous cube soaps. That's kind of like their entire thing. Right. But the new one is grape soda flavored, and it's purple.
Hold on.
Not flavored, scented. Okay. Caught myself.
It's like I caught it as soon as you said it. I'm like, wait.
It is grape soda scented, and it is purple. So you could get yourself a purple gelatinous cube with dice inside. And I know that I'm speaking your language.
Yeah, man, I come from the west side of Columbus, if anybody knows about that area. Man, grape soda, orange soda, I love it. I love that shit.
But this brings me into another point, and I'm not sure if I've told you yet. I think I haven't, because I was purposely saving it as a surprise. While they are not hashtag a sponsor, we do have an affiliate. Hashtag affiliate.
Oh.
So check the description below for a link to Geeky Clean, where you can get bath bombs with dice inside, and every purchase you make with Geeky Clean, and I'll try to get some discount codes down there soon. Every purchase you make with Geeky Clean, we get a little something. So if you want to support us, buy some bath bombs, get some dice,
I really got the books. I don't. I put them on my desk. You leave them there for me to review, and I tell you I look at them, but we both know I really don't. So I really got to look sometimes, because that would have excited me.
Yeah, but like I gotta say, that's really exciting. We've got an affiliate, and it's one cool ass affiliate.
Yeah,
I will say,
No,
I would be talking.
Oh yeah, even before this, I was a fan of theirs.
I would be talking about this purchase I just made, whether or not they were affiliate. But because they're affiliate, I'm going to put some extra stank on this here. So I just bought a couple of their Pride Month bath bombs, which they smelled amazing and came with rainbow dice in them. The rainbow dice look amazing. And I just bought their entire Critical Role set. Now, I bought that, and I'm not even a huge fan of Critical Role, but I just looked at all the scents in the Critical Role set and all the dice that you could get in the Critical. I was like, these are fucking cool and smell amazing, and they do. The dice are all great. When I got the Critical Role set, not only did I get a bath bomb featured after each character of both campaigns.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
And the Dungeon Master. They got the Dungeon Master one as well. You also get one that's not a Dyson side bath bomb. It's the only one that's not a Dyson side of Trinket, the bear. And it's a nice little, it's a little purple disc with like Trinket's face on it, and like it's painted, so like it's super cool looking. And I got a nice little dice rolling mat that it's got a little spot where it's got a zipper and you can put a whole dice set in there, probably a couple dice sets, and then you zip it up and you roll it up and it looks like a little spell scroll or something like that. And it's got a Geeky Clean logo on it embossed on the leather, which is really cool. So go check them out. I mean, and
also Geeky Clean, if you're listening, notice what kind of energy we're putting into affiliate. If you go sponsor, I will go full bore. I will. I'm telling you.
And they just released some 3-color ones too. They're doing 3-color dice bath bombs now, which look amazing.
Nice. You know, I what I want them to do, I want them to find all the old Chessex Golden Strawberry dice, buy them all up, and then turn them into bath bombs.
Yeah.
It's my favorite. That's my favorite dice set is the Golden Strawberry.
So let's see. We've gotten some stuff come out or coming out. I just did a Kickstarter recently. I know it's not like the entire geek world is talking about this one, but there's a little show on YouTube called Actually that I'm a big fan of. I've
just recently started watching that.
They're coming out with a home game version of Actually. So I hit that up on Kickstarter. I'm backing it. So hopefully on some of our Discord game nights, which happen every other Tuesday, we might be playing Actually very soon, which could be very interesting.
And if you want into our Discord, let us know. We will shoot you an invite.
I believe there's even a link in our description.
Yes, I think we have a permanent invite
like yeah.
So just go there, join us, because we definitely want to talk more to our people. We definitely want to talk more. So come in and talk. Don't say anything messed up, or you'll be the first to get banned by our security guy. Do we have a name for that?
Not yet. I'm sure it'll be another one of our guild lieutenants, like a guild lieutenant of security or guild lieutenant of Banhammer.
Nice. Guild officer.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's see.
You know what? It should be captain of the guard.
Yes. There you go.
There we go. It's a guild officer title. It's captain of the guard. They'll be our main moderator, and then anybody else that they want to enlist as moderators will just be the guard. The guard.
Yeah.
Well, since we're talking about Kickstarter, I know it's already over, but I want to point out that most of these Kickstarter things you can buy once they're released. I think it's Eldermancy who released Stibble's Codex to pets or whatever. God, I feel like a dick for not knowing that one, but I didn't back that one. But the one I did back is the Seeker's Guide to Twisted Taverns. And let me tell you, I am pumped to get that, even though I know I'm going to have to wait like another year to get it.
Yeah.
But once it gets out, y'all, man, I'm loving these updates that they're sending. The updates that I'm seeing on this stuff. I can't wait to get this book. I'm really thinking about running a campaign that is just oh, you know what? This is what it's going to be. I don't know who's going to be involved. I might even pull people from our Discord to come in and join the game, but it's going to be a cross-country tavern crawl.
Nice.
So
that'll be good.
Yeah, I will either use the taverns in the book or use the book to make the taverns. But I think just to pump the book, I may just use the books in the tavern. And the point is to go from area to area to the biggest taverns in each region. And yeah.
If you don't have some sort of at World's End style BBEG twist toward the end of it, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah, you know that's going to happen. And you know what it's going to be? It's going to be a tavern that is set in like behind enemy lines.
Mm-hmm.
Like there'll be a fucking orc tavern or something like that. And like this world, you know, and I'm not one, like even before Tasha's guide came out and pissed off a bunch of incels, I would never. You okay?
No, I'm good.
I was never one to say that there is a evil race. You know what I mean? I love orcs. I love them. And I'm not Tolkien. So I had orcs that were good guys. I had orcs that were that could have been at war with the starting country, but it's because they are their own people. They have their own culture, their own desires, their own needs. And, you know, maybe they needed to expand and the humans didn't like it and they fought back. They never got that far in the game, so we didn't get to explore it. But
I've always liked World of Warcraft's kind of way of looking at it, where it was almost like orcs were the natives and like humans were the colonizers, and and then the only reason why they became evil is because they made a deal with a demon to try to drive them out, not realizing that this demon was going to, you know, mess with their souls and stuff. So I loved it. I loved it. It's like these guys obviously made a mistake. And I'm thinking it's because they never dealt with these demons before. And I'm betting these demons came over with the humans. Mm-hmm. So they finally made a deal. I don't know. There's a whole lot of Warcraft lore. Don't at me. Christ. But yeah. Oh, man, no. Oh, and the brown orcs. The brown orcs in Warcraft. Oh, I love how they look. Like, I like green orcs. But green has always been definitely an alien color to me. And I think making brown orcs made them seem more like real people. Yeah, I agree. I feel like the green orcs fit really well in like 40K, like Warhammer 40K and stuff like that. Yeah. That they're fungus men, you know. But in games like World of Warcraft and high fantasy, I do like a little bit more of a, I don't know, non-alien skin color.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like all of my like D&D races, they have like those earthy tones.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like, you know, even like the European-centric humans, they still have earthen tones. I mean, you know, they're pale as fuck, but they're still earthen toned, all the way down to drow, which, let me say, I love the evolution of the drow, too, where they've taken on more of an ashy look and not like just straight
jet black. Yeah,
like your xenomorph kind of weird color black. But yes, I give a lot of credit to Matt Mercer on that one. I think he did a really, really good job. Yes, I'm a Critical Role whore. Anybody out there listening right now? He really brought a lot of these D&D races down to earth. Like, he made them really relatable. And I mean, I never ever wanted to play a drow before. Drow were for people who were just edgy and just wanted to be different and all this stuff. And then like the drow in his world are beautiful. I love them. I love the culture that he is erected around the Kryn dynasty. I love it.
So let's see. We got, what are we, 4 or 5 episodes into Loki now? The new Loki series just came out?
We're 5 Ooh, wait, did we just 4?
I think it's 4.
There's only 6 episodes. We've done 4. We're at the 5th. At the time of the recording of this show, tomorrow night, the 5th episode of Loki is going to come out. I love it. Now, let me tell you, I mean, you get a lot of these people that are like, I didn't really like WandaVision. I didn't really like Falcon and Winter Soldier. And it's like, well, they're great.
Amazing.
There are MCU movies that I prefer, like Thor Ragnarok, Guardians of the Galaxy. I love those weird, out there kind of stuff.
Ragnarok might be my favorite.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was great. And I think that them letting Taika Waititi do what he wanted to do on that really and actually, you know what? I think that if it wasn't for James Gunn doing Guardians of the Galaxy the way he did, they probably would have never considered Taika Waititi to do Thor.
No way they would have. Yeah.
If Thor Ragnarok was the first, like he was like, here's the script that I'm trying to sell to you guys. Oh, no, there's no. But now they have Guardians of the Galaxy look back on and they're like, okay, well, we pushed the envelope there. Let's push it a little further, which is what Thor Ragnarok was. And like my least favorite ones are like the down to earth, the spy movie kind of feel, like the Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't a big fan of that. I mean, Civil War was kind of, the only thing that I liked about Civil War is my boy Spider-Man.
Yeah. I think the only reason I like those ones is because I'm already invested. Like, the only reasons they get me on board with, like, Winter Soldier and Civil War and those, like, more political intrigue, spy type deals is because I'm already invested. And so, like, I'm like, oh, no, they didn't. But, like, if it was a standalone deal, like, yeah, I probably wouldn't even like those movies.
Right. But saying that, I realized that those movies have their place in this universe. Mm-hmm. There are people that will like those more than, say, Thor Ragnarok.
Look at our Marvel episodes that we've had. Ray comes on, and Ray's favorite one was Winter Soldier.
Okay, but to be fair, he has a huge crush on Bucky, okay?
Look, I didn't say reasons. I just said,
I'm just saying that he really likes the first cybernetic raccoon of the MCU.
Wow.
What?
No, you're right. You're right. I just never heard it put that way before. That's all.
The Rocket thinks he's special, but Bucky got there first. I'm sorry. Come at me, Bradley Cooper. Or do. I don't care.
Go ahead. Come towards me.
Come towards me. Just don't get in Ryan Reynolds' way if he starts coming first.
Come in my general direction.
Oh, man. But yeah, they definitely have their place, and there are people who will enjoy them. So I'm glad that they are making them, even if they're not my favorite. Speaking of movies like that, we have the Black Widow coming out this weekend.
Yes, and I'm very excited. I'm pretty sure that's going to be my first movie that I see in theaters since the crisis began.
It will definitely be my first movie that I've watched in theaters. And I think it feels great that I'm doing it with a Marvel movie because my daughter and I have this tradition when a Marvel movie comes out, we go out and we watch it in the theater together. And it's been doing that. We've been doing that. And I know I've said this on this podcast at least 5 times before.
Yeah.
We've been doing that since she was old enough to go to theaters. When she wasn't super young and crying when we take her in. And man, I can't even remember what movie that was. But I mean, except for one movie, which I think is Iron Man, and I think it came out in 2008. She's been alive for every single Marvel movie.
Right.
So, this is the MCU has been her life.
Yeah.
And, she's not like, okay, yes, she's a huge geek, but she is not like a huge, like, MCU Marvel geek. She enjoys them. and I think she enjoys them because we get to spend time together and watch them.
Awesome.
And I do think that there are certain, like, she really loved Iron Man. She really, well, you know, with Endgame and Infinity War and stuff, she really grew attached to Iron Man. But yeah, I'm going to be interested to see how she reacts to because I mean, to an 11, 12-year-old, a year, that's huge. That's 10% of your life.
Yeah.
10% of her life away from those movies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's watched WandaVision. I think she kind of watched Falcon and Winter Soldier, but those aren't really her thing.
Right.
I think she may be watching Loki, but as you know, it's great. It's funny that they're doing this the way it is because she essentially went as a Loki variant.
Yes.
Before all this,
Yes.
You look at the previews and you see President Loki in that suit and those horns. I'm like, oh my god, she already cosplayed as President Loki.
Yes, she did. Okay, here's my Loki theory, by the way, while we're on Loki. And I am not a huge comic book guy, so you could tell me I'm like way off base with this theory based off of what you know about the comic books, or we all know that MCU just kind of like throws the comic books out the window sometimes. I believe that Sylvie, by the way, spoilers if you haven't seen the show, I believe that Sylvie is considered a variant because Sylvie is not supposed to live in the sacred timeline. I don't think Sylvie is a Loki variant. I think that Sylvie is a child who has either miscarried or died young and was going to be the original goddess of mischief. And then when they die as a child, Odin goes out and then picks up Loki because he's mourning his lost child and like takes that little ice giant baby who becomes Loki, and that becomes the new god of mischief. And in Sylvie's timeline, where she was picked up as a variant, the reason she was picked up as a variant and considered, you know, a crime against the sacred timeline was because she lived. Like, that was her crime against the timeline, was that she lived and it was causing too much of a branch. That is my theory.
That's legit. Okay. I think that's definitely more involved than the theory that I had. I think that my theory was a Loki can't be a hero.
Okay.
Well, no, that can't be true. That can't be right. Because Loki, as far as I'm concerned, died a hero in Endgame or Infinity War.
Yeah, but died a hero. Like, the moment he became a hero, he died. So that could support your theory in a way.
Yeah. That. Oof. Yeah, I kind of just ruined my own thing. I do like yours though. I never considered that before.
When I came up with it is when Loki started to compliment Sylvie and talk about how good Sylvie, and that made a huge branch in the timeline. That was a variance that was immediately detectable. And normally none of the variants are detectable during an apocalypse, right? But for Loki to feel pride in someone other than himself and compliment someone other than himself made such a variant, which made me think that Sylvie is not him. Like, it's not Loki.
You know, let's think about that. Let's think about that for a second too. Them. Oh, wait. Okay. So, okay. Okay, go with me on this one. One, it can't be detected in apocalypse events because, you know, what's going to change is what's going to change.
Right.
So either A, that moment that they had on that planet, them making that connection meant that A, they were going to save that apocalyptic event.
Right.
Like, that thing changed the course of that whole planet. Or two, as I've heard, especially on New Rockstars, them talking about the resurrection event of Loki. Like even in the comics, if they die, they are resurrected.
Yeah.
If one of the gods dies, they are resurrected. So if they met their true death on that planet, they would be resurrected elsewhere.
Okay.
So, oh wait, what if? And go with me on this one. Oh no, that can't be right. Nope. Oh man, now you got me going down a rabbit hole.
It's fun to watch your wheels turn, though.
So yes, I think that part of it has to do because they were really making a big deal about her playing with those toys and, pretending to be Valkyrie and saving, these Vikings from a ship. And they seem to be, oh man. And again, we did put the spoiler warning up and everything, right?
Yeah. I mean, not to mention, if you're listening to this podcast, you should know by now.
Right. So they're sending them to that other place, but not killing them outright. Now, they could be doing that and thinking they're killing them, or they could be doing that knowing that they are sending them someplace that they can't just die.
Right.
Because I think them dying has something to do with it. But I also think that Sylvie being a hero has something to do with it. Because she was going out of her way. She was pretending to be Valkyrie. When they popped into the Time Variance Authority, that one dude was screaming for help, and she was screaming, help him, help him.
Help him, yeah.
Oof. Oh, there's a lot. I was even thinking that part of it could be that Sylvie is actually the reincarnation of a Loki. A Loki died, and then she was reborn as a Loki. But I don't think that would, because she was in Asgard, but it was also another timeline.
Yeah. Who knows?
But she didn't remember her mom.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Okay. Further support my theory. Sylvie doesn't remember her mom because her mom died in childbirth.
Could be. She said I think she said she barely remembered her.
Oh, okay. Or there was an event where Sylvie would have died and her mom died instead.
Okay.
But anyway, before we do 2 hours on Loki.
Yeah, because we could. That's the problem. We could do a whole episode on one episode of Doctor Who.
Yeah, we could. Ghostbusters Afterlife came out.
Oh no, did it? How did I miss that? What's it all?
Came out on the no, it's coming out. Hold on. It's either June 11th it came out or July 11th it's coming out. Hold on. June 11th it came out.
Really? How did I miss that?
It came out very quiet. As of right now, you can only rent it. There's nowhere that you can stream it for free. You got to go on Amazon or something like that and rent it. I haven't seen it yet. I'm definitely going to. It's very exciting. I just had to bring that up as long as we were talking because I don't know what episode we would be doing this season where I could talk about it.
Right.
But yes, I'm very excited. I missed it mostly due to a bunch of stuff that's been going on in my life, but I will be watching that very soon. Bo Burnham came out with a new special on Netflix.
Yeah.
I have to say, as someone who, toward the beginning of the crisis, having chronic depression and having suicidal thoughts, being a content creator during the time, being locked inside, early 30s, someone who starting with their 30s started to realize how problematic they could be. I mean, there's just a lot of reasons that special hit me really hard. And then the family emergency I went through was just I lost someone who was very close to me. And that was right after the special came out. It has affected me in a very profound way. So I'm not saying I was cracking up at it. I mean, I know it's supposed to be a comedy special. There are parts of it I can find funny, and that's therapeutic to me. But there's a lot of it that I identify with, and a lot of feelings I didn't realize that I still had to process that is brought to the forefront.
Yeah. I will say that, and I don't mean this in a bad way, I didn't find any of it funny.
Right.
It was at times rough
to
watch. And then, you get these catchy songs that get stuck in your head and, you kind of bop to it. And then you're like, oh, fuck, what is he singing about? Oh, no. So, yeah, it was rough. And I got caught up in the magic of it. I let myself believe that this man was seriously in a room by himself filming a slow descent into madness.
And that's just the genius of Bo Burnham right there.
Because, I mean, just the existence of the post-credits shows you that that's not the case. That's not what happened.
Right.
So
I think that last song on the album and the special, though, is where, depending on how you look at it, you can gain a little bit of hope. You know, it'll stop any day now, which you can look at in several different ways. But I kind of looked at it as a this too shall pass kind of thing. Because you can look at it as, you know, everything ends. Good things end, bad things end, and it'll happen any day now. So you can look at it in a really depressing way where all the good things are going to end, but all the bad things will end too. So,
yep. But yeah, it's definitely a rough watch. If you haven't watched it, I would definitely say check your mental health before you do.
Yes.
Make sure you're ready for it. I don't think I was ready for it when I watched it. I went home for my family member's funeral, and I was kind of listening to that album on loop, and I probably shouldn't have done that. That was probably not the space to be doing that in, but I did. So maybe don't do that if you're going to take my advice. But yeah, if you had some problems through the pandemic and you think you might still have some time to process, I know it helped bring some things that I didn't realize I was dealing with to the forefront and show me that I was dealing with them. Like, for example, the song Don't Want to Know, I think I've listened to a lot because this podcast in general, it's been therapy for me, and I've been having a lot of fun doing it. But in a way, I really don't want to know what people think about it. Like, I don't want to know that, like, you put a song in the background while you go do something else and then you're not even paying attention, or, like, you know, I don't want to know. But regardless, thanks for your support. Right.
But as far as other things you can watch, Rick and Morty has a new season out now. I've always been a fan of Rick and Morty. I know there's a lot of people who don't like it, and for good reason, but I've always been a fan. I feel like the new season kicked off really good with the first episode. I haven't seen any of the other episodes yet, but I did really enjoy that first episode.
I have not got the chance to watch it. I think that I still even have some of the last season that I haven't watched. I am one of those people that is not a huge fan of the show for a lot of the reasons that the Bo Burnham episode, that I wasn't ready for it. The Rick and Morty show kind of throws a lot of things into your face that, you know, you may not necessarily want to deal with right now. So, or, you know, you've dealt with and you just don't want to revisit it.
Right.
Right. So, but I've been watching as much as I could, and I may go back and watch some of the old stuff just to watch some of the new stuff. So
I will say Adult Swim made the first episode of the first season free to watch on their YouTube channel. So you don't even have to have any kind of subscriptions or anything in order to watch it.
Right.
I know we were talking about it coming out, but it hadn't come out yet. Godzilla vs. Kong finally came out.
I liked that.
I still haven't seen it. I will. I have HBO, so it's on there, so I'm going to watch it. It's just a matter of when. A new series came out. Once again, there's a lot of things here that I haven't watched that I'm telling myself I'm going to watch, and it's part of the reason I'm bringing it up here. A new series came out called Invincible. Have you heard of that one?
I've watched it. I've actually read the comics when they first came out too. So
okay, I am very interested in Invincible. It's worth a watch. You think?
Oh, absolutely. I'm sorry, I didn't know that was a question. I thought that was a statement.
No problem. I didn't really phrase it like a question, so that's my bad. But yeah, I've seen clips. I've got a general idea of what it's about, and I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah, it's really good stuff. If you ever get a chance to watch the comic as well, or read the comic as well, it's a good read. But yeah, I'll tell you, I read the comic and I was not ready for the level of violence in the cartoon. I acclimated to it when I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be like the comic. Okay, I'm fine now. But the initial like act of violence, I was like, holy shit. So yeah, but yeah, it's a good watch. Can't wait for second season. I'm always happy to hear J.K. Simmons in a cartoon.
Oh yeah, excellent actor and excellent voice actor. My Hero Academia came out with a new season.
I think that wasn't there a movie too that came out this year?
I watched the first movie, and that was a while ago. I don't know if there was a new movie.
I think Demon Slayer just came out with a movie.
They did. That I know for sure.
Yeah.
Which I've started watching Demon Slayer too. Like I saw all the hype coming out when the movie was coming out, and I was like, maybe I should give this a shot. I think it was it's on Netflix, and me and Tiffany sat down and started watching it, and I gotta say, I like it a lot.
Yeah, the show I love. I haven't watched the movie yet, but yeah, I love the show.
But I've been a big fan of My Hero Academia since like it first came out. I still got a lot of this new season that I still need to watch. I was waiting for it to go dubbed. All you subbed fans, don't at me. I'm an adult now, and when I watch my anime, I can't give it my full attention. Like I gotta watch anime while I'm folding my laundry.
Oh man.
So I can't sit there and read subtitles. I would love to sit there and read subtitles. I'll even admit that it's probably better, but I have other things that I have to do. I can't. So I was mostly waiting for that season to be fully released and be fully dubbed before I dive in and kind of binge it all at once.
That's fair. But yeah, no, I've came to that same conclusion myself. It's like I used to always be a subbed guy, and then, adulthood and having to do things. And like I do a lot of stuff, like I work on a computer and I wait for calls, and in between calls I will watch shows, and sometimes I just can't focus on the show.
Subtitles, yeah. I don't always have the entire mental faculty I need in order to read while I watch. And sometimes it's not because I'm doing something else. Sometimes it's because I've had a really hard day and my mind is already exhausted and I just don't have it. I could be doing nothing else and that show might have my full attention, but I just don't have it as far as reading on top of everything else,
Mm-hmm.
So that being said, we are reaching a quote-unquote end to the crisis. We're not there yet. We still got some work to do, but we've got vaccinations, and that means we can do some things that we couldn't do before. We can get together with some friends who've also been vaccinated, and possibly even the start of next year, maybe start going to some conventions. Very exciting.
Yep. I think one of my runs is going to be to Origins next year.
Yep.
That seems to be a good one for me to go to. I would probably go to Gen Con, but I go to the Mothman Festival around the same time. So, but, that's in our wheelhouse too. So,
yep. I would say maybe entertain the idea of joining me at MagFest.
And where?
It's in DC.
When?
January, usually.
I will entertain the notion.
Yes. It's a great convention, music and gaming festival. I only went for the first time right before the crisis, but had a ton of fun. Very excited to go again. This past weekend, I hung out with a group of friends for the first time that I haven't seen since the beginning of the crisis. And we sat down and we played Betrayal at Baldur's Gate, and we shot some fireworks.
Nice.
And I gotta say, it felt really good.
I still haven't played Betrayal. Oh, well, the Baldur's Gate. I have played Betrayal.
Yeah. It's it might be, if you don't count Betrayal Legacy, because Betrayal Legacy is definitely my favorite. But if we're just talking just the normal box game that doesn't have a campaign, I think Baldur's Gate might be my favorite. And then this next weekend, that same group of friends, we will be diving back into a hopefully weekly D&D campaign in person, which will be really nice.
Yeah, I really feel like I need to. I actually think that now that everything's clearing up, I may actually start going back to my in-person gaming group as well.
As long as you're vaccinated and they're vaccinated, I say go for it.
Yep. Yep. I may leave the spawn at home for those, just because she is under the age of 12 and I'm not really sure of the effects of the vaccine on the younger ones, but
sure.
But yeah, it definitely would feel good to get back to it.
Absolutely. And we've got all these nerdy and geeky hobbies, and there's a lot of things that I enjoy by myself, and there's a lot of things I enjoy remotely, but when it all comes down to it, that is the part I enjoy most about being geek or a nerd, is hanging out with other geeks and nerds and indulging in our hobbies together. So it's really what it's all about.
It really is. Being a geek by yourself is fun, and we can all claim that we're introverts all we want, but a lot of our hobbies, it involves other people, and we had to get innovative this year. We had to really pull out some stops and learn some new things, just so that we can keep connecting with the people that we have connected with this whole time. And some of us have lost track of some people. Some of us have made new connections, but here pretty soon we're going to be back at it face to face, and it's a good feeling.
Mm-hmm. So we are about. I counted it out, and if we end our season at about the same spot that we ended the last season, which we've already determined is a pretty good spot for season breaks, we are about halfway through.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about this season so far?
It's definitely been. I feel like this season has been a lot of work, but I also think that I've felt more rewarded this year. I know that you've definitely put in way more work than I have, but it just feels more rewarding. Obviously we're not any of the the big podcasters or anything like that, but man, seeing those numbers, it feels good to see people watching our stuff. And we may not be getting a lot of comments on stuff, but again, a lot of people watching are geeks, and we don't it gets a lot. It takes a lot for us to speak out and stuff.
Yeah, we just haven't made anyone angry enough yet, is what it comes down to. Which means the same incels that you were talking about earlier aren't listening, which is kind of good. I agree 100%. I mean, like, it's been a lot of work, and there have been times when I've sat down in front of the computer about to edit an episode and been like, man, I really don't want to do this. Sometimes, how you look at other work that has to get done or jobs gets done, but I still get done and I do it. And when I finally press that, schedule episode button after I've edited the episode, wrote the credits for that episode, reformatted it and done everything I do, like, it feels really good every time I press that schedule episode button. And it feels like I'm really accomplishing something. And I was telling my mom, when I was telling her about why the podcast is one of the reasons the podcast is so important to me, because there's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of projects that I have talked about starting, was about to start, and never really got off the ground. But this one, we got it off the ground, and that's important because I have a 3-year-old daughter. And someday I'm going to have to look her in her eye and tell her that whatever it is you want to do, you can do it. And you need to go out there and give it a try and go ahead and do it. Whether you succeed in it or not, whatever it is that you want to do with your life or you want to be, you need to, give it everything you've got. And this is something I've always wanted to do. I've always kind of wanted to be a content creator. And now, if nothing else, I have this to show her. However many years that we continue to do it, however many episodes I can sit here and be like, whether we ever take off, I can show her we tried. And we tried hard. We put in a lot of work here. We put in the time. Mm-hmm. And whether we succeeded or not, this is what I wanted to do, so I did it. And you should go do the exact same thing. Whatever it is that you want to do, put in the work, put in the time. And that's, really important to me. And that's every time I schedule an episode, I think about that. And, that's really great.
Yeah. I will say that, mine is older than yours, and she's had the opportunity to be on the podcast. So, creating those memories with her also feels pretty good. Yes,
absolutely. And then I like the fact that this season we've branched out a little bit. There's still more stuff I think that we want to do, but with you streaming on Twitch as regularly as you do, me hitting it up every other week, we've got the Discord game nights every other week. And just to put it out in the ether, I don't know when it'll happen, but it's gonna happen. We're gonna open up that OnlyFans. And maybe that's the one I don't show my daughter.
Right, yeah. Nah, maybe not.
But yeah, I mean, the fact that we've been going for this long and going this hard, and that we still have things that we want to do and still things we're excited about doing is probably my favorite part.
Yes.
Because we're not just like, we've done this and, you know, it's getting stale and it's getting old. The fact that we're still meeting up and wanting to record and we have other projects that we want to work on is really great.
Yeah, I will say I'm probably busier. I've been busier throughout this crisis than I normally am, and it's not something that I expected. But it felt good because I'm actually producing stuff. I'm doing things. I'm being productive, and yeah, it just feels good.
All right, well, we got a lot of good stuff coming up for the second half of this season.
Oh,
yeah. We are definitely not ramping down. One of the only reasons that we decided to do this mid-season break is because I recently had to take a few weeks off. It felt like a natural mid-stopping point. I did some math, and it really was. And like I said, there's just some stuff that we weren't going to be able to fit into other topics, and it just felt like the right time to do it. It's definitely not due to a lack of ideas. We got plenty of them coming, but that being said, that doesn't mean we don't want to hear your ideas. We would love for you to reach out to us and tell us your ideas, because if we're going to be talking for 2 hours every Monday night, I'd rather it be about the stuff that you want to hear about than just, you know, whatever ideas that we have.
Oh, absolutely. Even if it's something like if you want us to do a topic and you don't want to be on the podcast, you don't want to be the one talking about it, just tell us and we will talk about it. Believe me. And you know what? If it's something that we're not familiar with, maybe it's something we're not familiar with and we won't talk about it, but we will definitely bring it up on the podcast. And you know, people say, hey, look, we don't know a lot about this. And you know what? And you may even inspire us to broaden our horizons and go check this stuff out just so we can talk about it.
Or if you don't want to be the guest, there might be somebody else that we know that's super into that thing, who we were like, hey, we didn't think about doing this as an episode before, but somebody brought this up, and then that person jumps at the chance because they're super into the thing. So you never know. Just tell us.
Definitely. Please.
Ready to wrap it up?
Yeah. I guess during this wrap up, I want to take this time to say thank you to everyone out there that does give us this motivation to keep doing this. There's not a lot of you right now, but believe me, we notice you. We talk about you at the end of every podcast. It doesn't give us names, obviously, but we see your numbers. We see you watching us. It gives us all kinds of anxiety, and it gives us all kinds of wonderful feelings. And doing episodes like this, I think, is one, a good break. There's no structure to it. But at the same time, the more of you that watch, the more of you that interact with us, the more episodes we do are going to be like this. Just random talking about subjects that we've just been through. You know, I can see us as our Discord gets bigger. I can see us taking conversations from our Discord. I can see us taking conversations from our community game night onto this. We want this interaction, and really this episode is about our interaction with you. These are the things that we wanted to tell you about that we never got to. These are the subjects that we wanted to talk about that weren't big enough for their own episode, but we still want to talk to you guys about this stuff. So that said, we can't wait to keep going. We can't wait for the second half of the season. We are going to kill it. We're going to keep going, and we hope that you come with us.
Thank you very much for tuning to this episode of Casters Guild. Email us at castersguild@gmail.com. Check us out on all the socials. Check out Baron's very active Twitch. And check the link below for geekyclean.com. Get yourself some bath bombs. Don't smell like junk at the next convention you go to. And get some real cool dice. All right. We'll see y'all in the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye. 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 Bye.